This is one of the most valuable resources ever given to mankind. It is something that every successful person has. It is something that every struggling person also has. It is something that cannot be bought, borrowed, stored, replaced, or recovered once it is gone. That resource is *** time. Time is the great equalizer of humanity. Every day, the billionaire receives 24 hours. The president receives 24 hours. The student receives 24 hours. The entrepreneur receives 24 hours. The unemployed person receives 24 hours. The difference between where people are today and where they will be tomorrow often comes down to one thing: how they use those 24 hours. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Lost time is never found again." Those words are simple, but they carry a profound truth. Money can be lost and earned again. A business can fail and be rebuilt. An examination can be retaken. A mistake can be corrected. But a minute that has passed is gone forever. Many people spend years chasing success while neglecting the very thing that creates success. They search for opportunities, secrets, shortcuts, and connections, yet fail to manage their time effectively. Time management is not merely a productivity skill, it is a life skill. It is the ability to use your days intentionally so that your future becomes greater than your present. There is a touching story about a farmer and his son. Every morning before sunrise, the father woke up and headed to the fields. One day, the young boy asked, "Father, why do you wake up so early every day?" The father smiled and replied, "Because the sun waits for no one." The boy did not understand at the time. Years later, after his father had passed away, he watched the sunrise one morning and suddenly remembered those words. Tears filled his eyes because he realized his father had never been talking about farming. He had been talking about life. Opportunities do not wait. Dreams do not wait. Time does not wait. The sun keeps rising whether we are ready or not. Many people believe that success happens suddenly. They see someone become wealthy, influential, or accomplished and assume it happened overnight. What they do not see are the thousands of disciplined hours behind the achievement. Success is usually the result of small actions repeated consistently over time. Imagine a bank that deposits $86,400 into your account every morning. At midnight, whatever remains disappears. You cannot save it. You cannot transfer it. You cannot borrow from tomorrow. What would you do? Most people would spend every dollar wisely. Interestingly, life already gives us something similar. Every day, we receive 86,400 seconds. How we spend those seconds determines the quality of our lives. One of the greatest enemies of time management is procrastination. Procrastination is the habit of delaying important tasks while convincing ourselves that we will do them later. It whispers comforting lies such as, "You can start tomorrow," "You still have time," or "You will feel more motivated later." Unfortunately, tomorrow often becomes next week, next month, or next year. A young student once dreamed of becoming a doctor. He was intelligent, capable, and passionate. However, he constantly postponed studying. Every day he promised himself he would begin tomorrow. Meanwhile, his classmates remained disciplined. Years later, many of them graduated and fulfilled their dreams. He eventually realized that his problem had never been a lack of intelligence. It had been a lack of discipline. The pain of discipline may last for a short time, but the pain of regret can remain for decades. One of the most important principles of time management is understanding priorities. Not everything deserves equal attention. Some tasks move your life forward. Others merely keep you busy. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Many people fill their days with activities and still make little progress because they focus on the wrong things. Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, taught that effective people prioritize what is important rather than simply reacting to what is urgent. Many urgent things demand our attention, but not all of them contribute to our long-term success. Time management requires us to identify the activities that truly matter and give them our best energy. Warren Buffett, One of the world's most successful investors once said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." This statement reveals an important truth. Every time we say yes to something unimportant, we are saying no to something important. Time management is not just about organizing your schedule. It is also about protecting your schedule. Successful people understand the value of focus. They know that distractions can quietly steal years of progress. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media notifications, endless scrolling, unnecessary conversations, and entertainment can consume hours without us noticing. Many people spend more time watching other people achieve their goals than working toward their own. Consider Elon Musk, who manages multiple companies simultaneously. One of his strategies involves dividing his day into specific blocks of time. Each block has a purpose. Rather than allowing the day to control him, he controls his day. The lesson is simple. If you do not plan your time, someone else will. Another powerful lesson comes from a professor who walked into a classroom carrying a large glass jar. He filled the jar with large rocks and asked his students if it was full. They said yes. Then he poured pebbles into the jar, filling the spaces between the rocks. Again, they said it was full. Next, he poured sand into the jar. The sand filled the remaining spaces. Finally, he poured water into the jar. The students laughed as they watched everything fit. The professor explained that the large rocks represented the most important things in life: family, health, faith, purpose, and dreams. The pebbles represented work and responsibilities. The sand represented distractions and minor activities. If you fill your life with sand first, there will be no room for the rocks. The lesson was clear: put first things first. Time management also requires goal setting. Goals give direction to our efforts. Without goals, time slips away unnoticed. Imagine boarding a ship without a destination. No matter how long you travel, you may never reach a meaningful place. Goals act as a compass. They help us decide what deserves our attention and what does not. Every morning, ask yourself 3 questions. What is my most important task today? What action will move me closer to my goals? What can I eliminate that wastes my time? These simple questions can transform your productivity. There is another touching story about an elderly man sitting on a bench. A young man approached him and asked, "If you could go back in time and change one thing, what would it be?" The old man stared into the distance and quietly replied, "I would stop waiting." The young man looked confused and asked, "Waiting for what?" The old man answered, "The perfect moment. I spent years waiting until I was ready, waiting until conditions improved, waiting until fear disappeared, waiting until everything felt right." But life rewards action, not endless waiting. Many people postpone their dreams because they are waiting for certainty. They want guarantees before they begin. Yet every successful person has moved forward despite uncertainty. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking action despite fear. The truth is that every day is a piece of your future. Every hour is a building block. Every minute matters. The habits you practice today are creating the life you will experience tomorrow. Small actions may seem insignificant, but over time they produce extraordinary results. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains that tiny improvements repeated consistently create remarkable outcomes. If you improve by just 1% each day, the cumulative effect over months and years becomes extraordinary. Likewise, small daily wastes of time eventually become massive losses. Time management is also connected to self-respect. When you respect your time, you respect your future. When you value your minutes, you value your life. People who consistently arrive late, miss deadlines, and neglect priorities often underestimate the value of their own potential. Remember that life is not measured merely by years. It is measured by what we do with those years. 2 people may both live 70 years, yet one may leave a legacy that impacts generations while the other leaves little behind. The difference often lies in how they use their time. As we approach the end of this speech, I want you to reflect on your own life. Think about the dreams you have delayed. Think about the goals you keep postponing. Think about the opportunities you have ignored because you believed there would always be more time. The clock is ticking whether we pay attention or not. Every second that passes becomes part of history. We cannot change yesterday, but we can influence tomorrow through the choices we make today. If there is one lesson I hope you remember, it is this: time is life. When you waste time, you waste a portion of your life. When you invest time wisely, you build the future you desire. Start planning your days, set meaningful goals, eliminate distractions, learn to say no, focus on what matters most, take action today rather than waiting for tomorrow. One day, years from now, you will look back on this season of your life. You will either be grateful that you used your time wisely, or you will wish you had started sooner. The choice is yours. The future is not created someday, it is created today. Thank you, and may you make every minute count. References: Benjamin Franklin, Lost Time is Never Found Again. Warren Buffett, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog. Robin Sharma, The 5 a.m. Club. James Clear, Atomic Habits. Peter Drucker, What Gets Measured Gets Managed.